Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to another edition of the Comatose Society podcast. Um, on deck for today, we're going to be talking about, as you can see in the title, the Tampa killer. Otherwise, this specific neighborhood is Seminole Heights. The California shooting that was at the Rancho Nima school in California, and then we're going to be discussing lovely, uh, um, a lovely little article from the good old Everyday Feminism entitled "Toxic Whiteness." Been wanting to talk about that kind of myself, and seen a lot of videos of these pink and blue and green-haired women who really seem like they have nothing better to do than, I don't think it's bad that they're sticking up for people of color, but stick up for people of color, even though they're not people of color themselves, which really confuses me. But yeah, that's what we're gonna have going. Me as always, I'm Sean, otherwise known as the Blunt Atheist on my other channel, and my co-host Brian. So yeah, to start off, guys, yeah, I guess they don't for sure know that they can label him a serial killer. I guess that's what they're calling it. I guess they said it was something along the line, the comparative to, like, say, a Dexter or Mindhunter. That was the comparative. Now, they can't for sure actually pin it down to that. They don't know who's doing it for sure. They have a suspect in mind, and 4 have been killed so far in the Seminole Heights area of Tampa, Florida. I guess from what I've read and studied on the subject, I guess it's got a lot of people scared down there, and they're changing their patterns in lives and how they do things because of this. This killer is seeming to strike at night. He doesn't have a big motive of why he's doing it. It seems pretty random. They say the suspect is a black male between 6 and 6'2", thin build and light complexion, wearing all black and a black baseball cap, armed with a large black pistol. Police have received 2,300 tips, 450 of them being on Tuesday. The names of the victims were Benjamin Mitchell, Anthony Nabe, Monica Hoffa, and Ronald Fenton. I guess I just thought to mention it, seeing that it's in the news. I don't know your thoughts.
Well, you said they compared him to Dexter, right?
They say it's got that kind. They say it seems like it's popularized in that kind of leanings.
So that means to that one show where he's a murder case investigator who murders himself or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't even understand that show.
oh, I loved it, honestly. I'd recommend anyone to watch it. Great show.
Well, basically, without any spoilers, what's like the basic Barney down plot of Dexter?
The basic breakdown of it is yeah, he's a forensic analyst or scientist who he then finds murderers himself, and in his own like vigilante justice type of way, like kills them because like they're like bad people in his mind's eye, and his whole thing is he'll only kill bad people, and
Okay.
he does it in like, you know, super creative ways.
That does sound pretty fucking awesome, dude.
Dude, it's like, I mean, it's to, dude, I basically how I always put it out to people. It's like, especially Juggalos, like, it's basically a Juggalo wet dream of a show.
Hell yeah, that's what people don't get about juggalos. We're punishing the fucking wicked, you dumb idiots. The fuck you mad about? But okay, so they're comparing this guy from Florida to Dexter. Like maybe the circumstances of these murders, the people being murdered, are they bad?
No, they're just, I guess they're just saying like
Maybe he thinks he's a
it's serial killer esque in the sense that like he, you know,
so now
it's one person doing the killing.
so now my thoughts on this with a little bit more collected intelligence about it. I would say you can't be too careful these days about how serious people get about shows they see or movies they watch or things that they think somehow they can mimic. And even if they don't mimic things from their everyday lives, say maybe shows like Dexter or their favorite, serial killers, whatever. The whole thing is rather is rather subliminal. It's rather unspoken of about how deeply twisted the human mind really can be, and the things that we'll do to each other just for the sake of having a laugh or maybe making a dream come true. And you really think you get down into the real deep psyche of it. Fucking Xbox. And you think to yourself, like, and what's it going to be like 10 years from now when we have all this virtual reality shit? I mean, they're going to make games where you actually can, like, murder people. Like, hey, do you ever think about murder? Do you ever think about lighting your boss on fire? Well, now you can in the virtual world. Get all your anger out so that you don't have to do a damn thing in the real world. That's like literally the next step. But then does that make it worse? Or does it really do that whole venting thing it's meant to do?
I'd say not. I mean, generally, I mean, I know my consensus has always been like I've never attributed to what you listen to in a song or see in a movie or see on TV. Like, no offense, if you're the type of dude you're gonna go kill someone, you're gonna have those type of leanings or motives within yourself. Like, to me, it's just coincidence if like you say, oh, I play Grand Theft Auto, or oh, I listen to like, I mean, okay, I'm not gonna try to pick on it, but I'm just gonna use it as one, or say like, oh, somebody listened to Slipknot, it sounds like violent music, or like say Marilyn Manson, I'm gonna
Kill
go,
the phonies.
you know, shoot up the school. No, I've never let um you know, attributations to music or movies or TV. Like anytime anybody's ever been like, oh, well, the kids did it because of this, you know. No, the person did it because they were mentally ill or just had a grudge or a many number of reasons.
Right.
I'm not for this culture of, oh, let's attack the video games and the music, and
That's
you
what all
know
these fucking God-fearing bowl cut haircut women want to do. You play them damn video games and you watch the tube and you go on your Game Boy Cooler or whatever. It's like, you read the damn Satan books and it's like, what else are you gonna attack? The fucking trees? And Jesus Christ, you know? No, it's because of the actions that they see around them, the fucking problems, the whole whatever. So it's really just a question of, if you want to know why the killer did it, who hurt you?
Yeah.
That's the real question, man. Who hurt you? What?
I mean, that's just the way I look at it. It's just I've always hated that. They'll try to pin it against something like video games or music or TV. It's just like, no, I'm sorry. Like I've said this you know a lot. Like all that is just like religion and politics and all this stuff. All it is an influence. Like if you're actually going to go out and do that stuff, that's you choosing to take an action, and then that's you that
Being
that's
dumb.
yeah, that's you actually taking action and putting what you want, what you're doing yourself into action, and then
Making it into fantasy reality.
yeah, sure, there's influences.
Cosplay.
There's influences, but if you're to me, if you're that weak-minded of a person to let something influence you that much that you're actually gonna go and do it still, you can, I mean, it can be a huge influence on you, but still at the end of the day, like you're still choosing that action yourself, and you're still you know 100% yourself, piecing together and doing that plot or form of action yourself.
You are the conceiver, not the video game.
Yeah, like, okay, you may get the idea from one of those platforms, but one of those things isn't gonna actually, like, you know control you like a marionette to, like, actually push you out to do it. No, you may get the idea, but it's gonna be
Guns,
you.
guns don't kill people. Other people do.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, it's along that line. A gun laying there can't kill someone, but then you put it in the hands of a human being, may it be they're mentally ill or whatever the cause is, and then yeah.
You see something on a movie, and then the kid goes and does it, and you think he wouldn't have done it if he hadn't seen the movie. Well, is that true, or did he need to see anything just to give him the idea to do that? Whether it
Ex-
be a neighbor or whether the idea just floated by and popped in his head. Hey, let's put a burning rag in a fucking gas tank. Yeah.
exactly, and that's my whole point behind that. It's I know it's something I used to tell you all the time back in the day when we used to live together. I'm all about, fuck this free will. It's all about ultimate choice. People
Free will is
ultimately
a
choose.
fucking illusion, dude, for real.
Yeah, that's why I've always predicated my thoughts on, ultimate choice. You ultimately choose what you do. Sure, there's influences, but despite those influences, you're going to ultimately choose to do what you do in your everyday life. You ultimately make that choice, whether that choice is in good morality or bad morality.
Just because there's a fork in the road that extends to more forks, to more places, does not mean you can label those forks as the very existence of influential activity. The actual act of choosing one of those forks is the real test. But the truth is, without you or anyone else's influence or regulation of any kind, you are going to choose left or right. That is going to happen. That is the only thing that is true in the matter. You are going to choose this, or this, whatever paths be led before you. And somebody who had a plan, who wrote out all those plans. No, it wasn't wrote out by anybody. They were wrote out before time existed.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just choices. They're going to happen, and other branches affect other choices, and that's why everything can lead to cataclysmic failure or reigning peace. You fucking choose. So don't kill that guy just because you fucking think that he's an asshole. Choose not to. That way someone else can.
Or karma takes care of them.
Karma, ain't that another form of belief?
I mean, I don't know. I used to be the type like I didn't really believe in karma, but honestly, I've reversed my thinking on karma. I think it's real. I just doesn't think it works at this. I just don't think it works at the speed in which most people, because most people are. I mean, I mean, especially in America, we live in a society that we have instant gratification. You can have money, and you can go out and buy something and have it in your hands, just as soon as, the person rings it up and you give them the money, instant gratification. So as a society, you know, I think, especially in the Western world, people have a hard time with, with karma, in the sense that it works at its own pace. And with us having this, like I say, this instant gratification type thinking and world we live in, and we're used to it, that's not something we like. I mean, I'm not saying there's not Americans or just anybody in the world out there that doesn't have patience, but most people that I see, they are very impatient. They want karma to act their way. That's the way I used to think. I'm like, well, what? I mean, I know me and you used to discuss this topic of like, well, we do good things and we're good people for the most part, but life shits on us. But yet we know people that do bad out in this world, and it seems like life rewards them,
Yeah.
you know. But that's why I've done my rethinking on karmas. It's like, well, who's to say that these people that we see doing the bad, who's to say, like, that later on karma didn't come to bite them in the ass?
Well,
It just didn't work at our pace.
seeing the rich Rothschilds die in recession, along with the Lehman Brothers, the fucking World Bank owners, just these elite motherfuckers who pass this money down to their children, their children's, and their children's children for at least the last 200 years. And they all die in their fancy grave, gold suits for all I fucking know. Maybe not. Maybe they die naked. Who gives a shit? But like, they don't get their comeuppance. And you know what? I don't really think I care who gets their comeuppance and who doesn't. It goes right back to the idea, it goes right, it all circles back to what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Your life sucks. Karma may have given you a shitty hand, and you know what? What are you going to do about it? Oh, that's cool. Whatever you say is what you're going to do, so do it. I was homeless for how many fucking years, and I said, man, this is bullshit, And I said, what are you going to do about it? I have my own place, car, and a job. That's what I'm going to do about it. I pulled my own ass out of the dirt. Karma and no one else did that for me.
Yeah. But I think that's where we'll end the Tampa Killer segment. We're gonna move on to the California shooter. Um, I guess it said he killed 5 people in a rural Northern California community Tuesday. Um, he said apparently he targeted his neighbor and the neighbor's 7-year-old son due to long simmering feud. Another neighbor told local newspaper Friday the killer or gunman Kevin Neal told that Neal threatened out loud that he was going to kill Danny Elliott and then go to the elementary school and kill Elliott's 7-year-old son, Gage. He screamed to him, "I'ma kill you, boy. I'ma learn you. Once I kill you, I'ma go kill your son at school," the guy told the paper. I like I was telling you, this Kevin Neal guy, unfortunately, he fits the stereotype of the mentally ill lone wolf Caucasian shooter.
How
Hate
old is
this,
this guy?
huh?
How old is this guy?
I want to say he was in his mid 40s.
Okay. So because of a fight with his neighbor, he killed his neighbor and went to an elementary school and killed his 7-year-old son.
I don't know that he killed. I don't know that he killed the son, but that was his motive.
So he killed three other people.
No, he killed 5 people in total.
Right. How many at the school were there?
100 students.
No, I mean that were killed
5,
at the school.
correct.
Oh man. Ugh.
It was at Tehama Elementary School.
Shit, what are your thoughts on that, man?
Um, it just it just furthers me to the narrative of we need to. I mean, because obviously this dude either had a sniper rifle or an assault rifle of some sort. Um, if he didn't, he could have had some kind of like semi-automatic pistol. My leanings would be as he had an assault rifle of some sort, an assault rifle that he probably shouldn't have been able to get his hands on. See, I'm still with this whole thing of we need more regulations as far as firearms because you know it's sickening of how many of these types of events is it going to take, and then the sick part is they keep happening and the government does nothing, and that's because the lobbyists push the government, especially the Republicans, to be like, oh well, we'll keep contributing you money, look the other way. But I mean, this is why I really think, if the government doesn't do something about it soon, there's going to be civil unrest, and it's going to be on the government. The blood is going to be on the government's hands.
Yeah. Like there already is in civil unrest. Maybe not extreme, but it's bubbling. I mean, discontent has swollen in the heart of man.
Oh, I guess he did kill 2 adults.
So it was 3 children and 2 adults.
That's what it looks like.
Why would he shoot the kids, man? The kids.
Because he just apparently it was just like a like he I guess he just went by these buildings and just sprayed on them.
But
I guess what I had heard out of it is that there was a janitor that I guess kind of had a heroic um, set of doings in it, that I guess he got some children away from the spray of fire in time. So I guess I guess a feel good little piece of this. I mean, despite the obvious, overlooming of bad.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's just no offense to the guy. Yeah, but he looked like the description of just the crazy white guy, lone wolf, just probably needed some mental help type of dude. Like, I mean, obviously had anger problems to where if he's yelling at the neighbor, he's gonna kill him and his son. Like, obviously the dude wasn't like all there upstairs.
The only thing I can say about this is like we were just talking about how people's motives can be different, but when a grown man gets revenge on his neighbor by shooting children on a drive-by, all these kids are rapping about trying to be hard, trying to be thug, and all this shit. It's like, is that what you want? Because that's what that shit entails, right there. That shit right there, just spraying down a fucking street, down the boulevard. That is where your future will end up someday. Is that what you really want? Is that what your raps and your dreams are all about? Shit. God damn it. I mean, I'm not trying to be stereotypical on a demographic of music here. I'm really not. Troubled people who aren't getting the attention they need. Is there just too many people nowadays?
I think it's a combination of it's just too easy of access to these like how high powered guns or assault rifles,
Yeah.
and not enough concern for the fact that there are, tons and tons of people that are mentally ill, and whether they don't want to receive stigma from their family or society or the person they're with or their friends, they don't go and seek help.
All these like you said it quite poetically earlier about all these um, gun-loving Americans that say all these things to say we deserve to own the right to bear arms and all this shit. And these kids pull them out underneath their dad's bed and they go shoot up the school or acquire something from some gun show and sprays up another school. We talk about all these regulations that we need because the regulations that are currently standing were made at a time with musket guns, where it took 2 minutes to reload one bullet. That's when gun laws were made. And I don't really think they've changed since. The only thing that has changed is the regulations and restrictions, but they're still not enough. Because kids are still getting into their parents' bedrooms. People are still losing their shit. It was just like you said, man. And for the wrong reasons, people are siding with the conservative, like or not the conservative, the NRA. I love the NRA. I grew up being a hunter, being a skeet shooter and all that shit. I never wanted to kill anybody. I actually had thoughts about it, but I never thought about taking my dad's gun to school. Like, the only thing I ever thought was, like, maybe they're assholes, but there's a point in their life when they're going to be different. So I'm not giving them the chance to be different by killing them.
Yeah.
No one thinks that.
I mean, it's like I still stand by my position. I'm still totally for the Second Amendment. I'm the type of person that even though I have more liberal of leanings, like I'm for the Second Amendment. But what needs to happen, I'm really thinking is we need more regulations. I mean, it's not like they don't have, statistics and mapped out ways of doing this that they've applied over in say like Australia and the UK, in parts of the UK, to show that it works. I mean, it wouldn't take his hold as quick in America because obviously, our gun laws are different and our attitude about guns is different, and just so many more people have guns. But it's not to say that in time they couldn't be implemented this in the same type of way.
Don't the Swedish people require everyone to join the militia by the age of 18, not to actually serve in war, but rather to be trained to defend themselves? And like 1 out of every 2 or 3 people actually does own a firearm.
I mean, that sounds right, but I know like places like over there like that. I know their gun laws are way harsher though. Like, yeah, a lot of the people own the guns, but their gun laws are super harsh.
Right. And that's because a whole lot of the people don't have those felony backgrounds.
Yeah, but
It's
the disposition over there is different too. Like, the you got to look at it though. They have reformed healthcare in the sense that like it's universal, and they also, their minimum wage is like triple what ours is. And and actually, like, I think it's like 4 or 5 of the countries surrounding that one are placed as being like one like the top in the top 10 of like happiest places to live.
yeah.
Not to mention, like, like I've said before, like, a lot of those countries around that area, the Sweden area, they're also, they're very atheistic or they're very non-religious.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ugh, fuck. That's a whole nother topic right there, dude. The application and restrictions of of fucking implemented religion throughout church and state, throughout state and education. Dwindling, dwindling the brightest minds with the stupidest ideals.
well, I
Hopefully
mean,
the
it's just,
smart ones, hopefully the smart ones can become atheists just out of like, or even agnostic is good enough for me, right? Agnostic, if you don't want to be on the other side of the fence, just be agnostic at the very least. Maybe you have to believe something, bring that little ball of dust in the beginning. Maybe something controls your death rate or whatever. You don't care, you don't know. You just know something's there. Agnostic. I don't even care about that. Go ahead. But at least continue to dwell in the things that are proven in front of you, like science and uh, um, physics, engineering, real shit. You know?
yeah, I mean, and it's just, and it's like people may disagree with it, but when you have these statistics in place that, like countries over there, like Sweden, that have, like they're placed in one of the top 10 for happiest places to live, like along with the statistics. Who's the real are you? The facts and statistics back it up. I even seen a video of the 10 worst places to live, and the biggest common factor in all 10 of those places was there was a religion of some sort, whether it was Islam or Christianity or whatever the Africans believed. Because 3 or 4 of the worst countries, they said, you know, in consideration with, in conjunction with happiness, was religion.
Yeah.
And yet you have these quote unquote happy countries that the facts and statistics go to show that they're either agnostic or atheist in approach, or that's the more popular way to look at it, and yet they're the more peaceful and happy countries.
And then people in our country who believe very firmly in Christianity blame people like this guy shooting the kids that, oh, he must have been a godless Satan lover or atheist. He had to be. No one would shoot a child if they love God. No one would be. No one.
Oh, and that, not that. Oh yeah, no, like I mean, okay, it finally, like, how many years had to pass, and there was, that, I mean, yeah, I'm still refuting it. I still have yet to see like total evidence that the Texas shooter was atheist. There's people saying he was. Let's just say that he was. Okay, that's one dude in how many years that was atheist, and yet compared to how many of these shooters, or mass suicide bombers that are Islamic or Christian.
Killing in the name
I
of
mean,
Allah.
the numbers don't compare.
Yeah.
They don't even close to match up.
Yeah.
That's why I say, like, it really to me boils down to, we need more of a concern for mental health concerns, mental health issues, and then with the gun reform, making deeper, more impactful regulations. I'm not saying take the guns away. I'm saying regulate them, and especially regulate just how easy it is to get them, because if they weren't so easy to get, then maybe people like this and the Las Vegas shooter wouldn't be possessing these guns or have the availability to do these things.
Yeah. I mean, even if you do regulate, the truth is, you can always still buy a scratch serial number off the streets. People are always finding ways to fuck the system. And you wonder, you try to take the guns away, that doesn't work. You try to regulate them harder, that doesn't work. You try to even lighten the regulations, thinking that'll work, it makes it even worse. There's just no ifs and ways about it. The truth is,
Oh no, I think regulation would work, but the problem is like I said, the lobbyists pay, especially the majority, the majority party that they tend to, work with, being the Republicans, to not even look at these issues. I mean, look at how many of these mass shootings we've had in just the past year, and the Republicans, I mean, they're in the majority right now and they're still doing nothing about it. Why? Because it's not in their best interest. A lot of these Republicans are in bed with people like the NRA and these NRA type lobbyists. It doesn't make sense for them to regulate guns. It doesn't make sense for them to, because that's like an industry, that they'd be losing out on money on. It's like the same thing of why they won't just massively put, like, marijuana into legalization in all 50 states, because then conglomerate companies are going to take a hit that make big money for both the Democrats and the Republicans. I mean, say you legalize weed in all 50 states, who takes the biggest hit? Big pharmacy. Who then also takes hits. The timber industry takes a hit because you could just use hemp. The cigarette companies take a hit.
cotton.
The booze, yeah, the booze companies take a hit.
Mm-hmm. The booze company might be the second one.
The prison jail, parole, and probation. and
the
cops.
narcotics, the narcotic teams that largely schedule marijuana as Schedule 1.
Yeah, they all take a hit. It's the same. It's the same thing as basically the gun thing. The lobbyists are paying these government entities to look the other way, and these government entities are looking the other way, even though we're having mass problems. That's why I just keep asking the questions: how many of these tragedies have to happen before the government actually sees its own crookedness and actually goes, shit, now we're having civil unrest. um, Maybe we might have to say, like, fuck our pocketbook for a little bit and actually, like, do something about this. But that's the thing, that's the problem with money being the root of all evil, is it's like, obviously, like, and I'm sure there's Democrats that are just as guilty of this, you know, having these lobbyists in their ear and in their wallet. you know it's just the overall problem. I mean, like, even just as an example, I just heard that now Columbine, that's not even one of the top 10 biggest mass shootings anymore.
Yeah.
That's how bad, like, this problem's getting, that something that happened 10-15 years ago is now being outshadowed by things that are happening currently.
That was terrible back then. It really was.
Oh yeah. I mean, the idea, and that's the thing, and the idea back then was, like, basically unthought of. Now, I mean, you have people like me where it's like, I mean, I guess label me as a nihilist if you want, and I guess I'd fit. I'd fit that because I kind of am one in a sense. But, like, now I hear of a shooting and it doesn't really even faze me. Like, I feel bad I feel bad that I'm unfazed, but that's just how bad it's gotten. Like, I heard about that California one and it didn't faze me. The Las Vegas one didn't faze me. Honestly, the last one that really fazed me was Sandy Hook.
I can't help but think when I hear another shooting. That's all I can think. A fucking another one. God. Like, man, like, all this shit is just piling up, and I can't even think about. Oh, I'm supposed to feel sad. I'm supposed to feel like, I should donate money to the cause. Well, I would love to. I'm not lying. I would love to, but, like, it happens so, like you said, it happens so often. It's been happening so frequently that at this point, it's just like, fuck, another one. Wasn't there one like 2 days ago? Shit.
It's what it's seeming like.
I know, right? It's terrible. Wasn't there one? Didn't that happen last week? Is this the same one? Or are you just reading, like, re-reporting the same? No, it is a different. Damn. You know. And even more this time. You're saying? Well,
Yeah, I
shit.
mean, and it's like, and it's like, and again, like, my thoughts go out to, the victims. I mean, I won't say my prayers because I don't believe in that, and I really don't believe prayers do anything. I mean, my thoughts go out with them. I feel for the families affected. I'm sorry for their losses.
When you have to come in. Can't imagine the turmoil they go through after that. I sent my child to school and he didn't come home. Oh, fuck.
But I mean, I don't know, guys. I think that's a good place to end that one. We'll now shift into the last topic. I just like to say, if you guys like what you're seeing here, please like, share, and subscribe to the Comatose Society podcast. If you'd like to receive when directly the podcast comes out or is starting, please hit the bell notification, please. if you're just that interested. Also, raising funds for better equipment. So I will be putting a PayPal link in the donation. Please use that at your discretion, please. The third and final topic, as I said in the beginning, we're going to be talking about this toxic whiteness. This is kind of something I wanted to elaborate and speak about myself, because I've been seeing it a lot lately, and to a point, it kind of confuses me. We're gonna like skim through the article. There was kind of some questions at the bottom. Pulling up the article now. Okay, it says if there was ever a time in recent history for white people to take action to end racism, this is it. Trump's presidency has shaken white people's understanding of racism to its core. It's revealed what many people of color have known and been naming for generations, that the U.S. has deeply normalized white supremacy and built on a foundation of systematic oppression. As a white person dedicated to social justice, you can see how racist Trump's administration is, but perhaps you don't know how capable so many white people, perhaps including your own family and friends, were of supporting him. You may be finding yourself coming to terms with just how prevalent and harmful white supremacy is, and how your white privilege has kept you ignorant and in denial of this reality in the first place. So as Trump's policies roll out, you know you want to be fighting alongside people of color, but you also know that you may feel frozen in place by the feelings of shock, confusion, denial, guilt that many white people have been dealing. It's understandable for white people to have those feelings as they begin to notice we don't live in a post-racial society as we've been taught, and how persuasive systematic racism actually is. You just don't want those feelings to stop you from taking action. This may this starts with not running away from the racism that exists both within yourself and communities. Instead it means acknowledging it, and that it's a painful process. With our unique compassionate activism approach, you can learn how to hold the pain of racism in a way that's healing and comes from a place of love and justice. That way you can become increasingly free to take action against white supremacy from a sense of wholeness and shared humanity. I guess to start just like with the article, like I love how it makes you, it tries to pin you to the feeling, or pin you to the fact that you are racist yourself. I guess me reading this myself, I'm not a racist. I never have been. I never will be. I don't like you cut somebody of any color, they bleed the same blood, their bones the same color. You know, I judge somebody by their actions, not the color of their skin. So I love that they like to inherently reply, or you know, they like to inherently place upon you and make you feel like you're some type of racist yourself. Well, I'm not a racist myself. So, I mean, I guess thanks for trying to push that on me, but I'm not. And as far as this like this like, you know, this whole like white guilt thing we have going on, I don't have it. Just like I don't think there's, such thing as white privilege. Like, I've been poor to middle class my whole life, and I'm white, so I don't see this white privilege.
I was going to start by saying that racism itself only exists because people talk about it. People acknowledge it, people speak it, they talk about it, therefore it exists in more ways than one. People need to just shut up about it. It's honestly only there because people are acknowledging its power over others. Now, maybe the fact of the matter is that people are subjugating, mistreating, and judging others simply based upon the tones of their skin. It's very real. People still do this. People are going to do this because we're fucking stupid by it. But what I'm getting at, we can end racism more faster than we believe we can. And the first step is to just shut up about it. If you're not racist, then you won't say anything racist. But if you do, then you are. And it's like, if you're going to say that shit, well, then other people need to just tell them either, hey, either let it go or just walk away from the person. You don't have to engage someone who is racist. Don't even acknowledge their existence. That's all we need to do. Just shut up about racism. And then agreeing with my host here about white privilege. I ain't seen any of it myself, but I tell you what, that it did exist to others, and how in a different time, during a different era, white privilege was more a thing than anything else. They even had specific bathrooms for specific colored people, which is completely boring when you think about it. I mean, and the other bathrooms of the different colors that were not white were either not kept up clean or were just left alone. And this happened. It was very real. But this is 2017. The only people who are truly racist and do not allow people in their bar are people who think that that's still a thing. It's not. It's not cool to have a bar where you don't let people in, even if it's a black bar who doesn't let white people in. That's still the same kind of level of racism. I mean, if we just had the ability to gauge places like bars, restaurants, schools, blah, 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 and basically survey the entire country about asking the very people who go there, does this place seem racist to you based on comments you hear or things you see? Give us some feedback, and then we'll determine on a wide range website where you can basically have an Angie's or Craigslist for places that you don't want to go to based on their racial profile. But then again, that also is talking about it, therefore it makes it even worse because then people are going to become racist just to be famous. And that's where the real thing is. All of these social justice warrior bitches gotta have all kinds of ideas to make you feel bad for being white. You're white. You should hang your head low, they're saying, because you don't feel bad for being white. Because you don't feel bad for what happened a long time ago. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you for not feeling bad about something your last 3 generations had nothing to do with. Nothing. But no, you should feel bad because racism is real. We're trying to talk about it and let you know it's real. It's here. It's everywhere. Everyone, talk about racism. Everyone. White people, feel bad. Right here, darling. Right here. Sit on it. Sorry, I kept going on. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're all good. I mean, I just, yeah, like back then, yeah, do I think, like terms like those, like how it was, do I think it exists? Yeah, because there was segregation. So that we have proof for, that being the case. But as far as today goes, not so much. Like to me, there's African Americans that are cops and judges, and we even had an African American as president. That's the highest office in power. To me, this goes for anybody. I'm not just gonna say just people of color. You know, you're only as downtrodden as you let yourself be. I mean, I know there's this thing of, oh well, yeah, but there's lots of like African Americans in the ghetto. Well, do you ever come to think that to a point they keep themselves there because they either join the gang life or they commit crimes? Like, I mean, it goes right back to the things of like, I love how black people, like, they're like, you know they want to focus so hard on like what a white cop does, but yet actually statistically white cops kill more white people in a year than they do black people. And here's the thing, you want to know the number one killer of a black person? Another African American. But yet, like, black people don't seem to like those statistics, unless I mean you do see some black people that acknowledge those statistics, but then those other black people will call those black people like coons or like Uncle Toms, because they tend to agree with these what these white people espouse. But I mean, the facts are the facts. I mean, dislike it all you want, the facts are the facts. And I mean, really simply, crime just comes down to, if you're committing it, then you're the one committing it. I mean, yeah, do I think it's unfair that, yeah, there's police that patrol neighborhoods more often? Yeah, well, they patrol certain, I mean, like African American neighborhoods more often because there's more crime there. I love how these people they want to sit there and go, they want to try to sit there and feel sad for the African American community because they're like, oh, well, the cops are profiling. Well, they wouldn't have to profile if the African Americans didn't do so much crime. The statistics show this. This may sound racist, but there's statistics to back this up. Honestly, a channel that I watch quite fervently, that if you want some of these statistics and you want somebody who can smartly put it out there, I'm sorry, I can't myself. This you can Google it. The statistics are out there. If you want somebody to watch that goes to show this, you can watch Atheism is Unstoppable. He's got a kangaroo for his icon, or he goes by Devin Tracy. I'd recommend going over and checking his channel out. I watch it quite a bit myself. He shows these disparities that these African Americans don't want to look at, or that these social justice warriors don't want to look at. I mean, the statistics are there. Hate the statistics and the facts all you want. They are just that. They're facts. So yeah, and and on top of it, it's really confused me that you have a lot of these like I said, white women with pink or blue or green hair. They're sitting there espousing whatever they are, like, about this white privilege, or this systematic oppression of people of color. But yeah, and then the funny thing is, like AIU points out, you know but yet Asians do just as well, if not better, than whites in the job community and education. So isn't that kind of a disparity in your whole thing of all people of color, or on the losing end?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like, it's kind of a wrench in your whole works of shit. Like, you're sitting there going, oh well, it's all the people of color, they're, you know, they just have a shit life and all this, but yet, you know, these Asian Americans are doing very well for themselves and holding power positions and doing very well in education. That doesn't seem to fit to your format. But yeah, back to you got these white women. I still I don't understand. It's like, have you looked in the mirror lately? You're not a person of color, so why do you feel so strongly that you have to like white knight yourself for people of color when you're not a person of color yourself? I could understand people of color, I guess you could say, in a sense, white knighting for themselves, but who do you see doing most of this white knighting? It's these feminist SJW type Caucasian women with weird colored hair that are on their soapbox about it the most. And it's just like, okay, lady, did you look in the mirror recently? You're the color that says, you're the color of the person that says that's doing the wrong bad things to the people of color.
These social justice warriors that go around bad mouthing their own people, their own skin, because they're defending people of color. They think, like, you know, they white knight themselves. But what you think to yourself is like, bitch, you guys are the real fucking racists. Because you're the ones who are racist of your own fucking color. You are literally your own fucking racist. Like, you're putting all this shit about how we need to realize the demographic that is going on. We need to adhere and pay dues and all this and that. Like, they put up these posts about how racist are you really, you know, and shit like that. And they're the real ones who are racist because they're racist of white people. And they're white. And the way they're racist is they diss their own color for being prideful, you know, misogynistic, whatever. And they do it and they say it's because we still hold the whip. And it's like, bitch, no one picked up a whip to strike a slave in at least what? How many 100 years? Because of a law. Because of a law that exists in our government. Couple hundred. Couple. Maybe 3.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, it's like, I love how they don't want to point out the fact that it's like, okay, let's look at I know this is gonna come across like this is gonna sound like fucked up, but like, I'm just gonna put it out there anyway.
This is the comatose society. We don't give a shit.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying to the people watching, like, I'm just saying, like, okay, do we like here? You want proof? White people care about this kind of stuff. Here, I'll give you proof. Who was one of the biggest people that actually went to actually like make it so that slavery ended? Abraham Lincoln with the Emancipation Proclamation. What color was he? White. Who was a lot of the color of the people who fought in the Civil War that helped the Union or the Yankees beat the Confederates? White people. So you can sit there and say white people don't care about this all you want, but guess what? Some of the biggest driving force in what ended racism was white people. Honestly, there was probably more white people that went to put like an end to racism than there were people of color. So honestly, people of color honestly have a lot to thank a lot in big in part to Caucasian people, because a lot of Caucasian people died in fighting for a war because they did believe that having African Americans as slaves was wrong. And to further point it out, if you're not privy to this information, African Americans over in Africa were sold out by their African overlords to these, rich Caucasian slave owners. And there were even African slave owners down in the South. But no, people don't want to point that out. Well, I'll point out the unfortunate, all important that unfortunate fact out to people in case they don't know that. There's some unfortunate facts for you.
We don't either want to remember all the white Irish children that were enslaved.
Oh yeah,
Before,
the Jews with the pyramids.
I mean, no, it's all about black people, and that's why the social justice people are fucking racist, because they're only concerned about one ethnic group and its sovereignty. That is all they care about. Just fucking black people. And they're trying to, it's like they want to be black. It's like, you know what? You can do the reverse Michael Jackson if you want to, but it ain't going to change a goddamn thing.
I just like it's like I'm for that they're for the cause, but it's just like why don't you let these people of color like champion these ideas more themselves? Like why it's like Atheism Unstoppable says, like why do you have to make it seem like play the victim card on them so hard? Let them fight for themselves. They're not children. A lot of these African Americans who can speak up for themselves are just people of color. They can speak for themselves. They can fight these disparities themselves. I'm not saying it's not helpful that there's Caucasian people that are helping them and do this, but some of your ideas come across so filled with hatred and backwards themselves.
You think about it real tough. You say they can handle it themselves, and you wonder, but they're not. These people, the black people, they're not defending. The African Americans aren't defending themselves like they should be. Maybe it's because they're just trying to get on with their fucking lives and forget about the whole goddamn thing. There's a few political activists out there, Malcolm X, who were anti-racist and wanted to, improve the power of others. Martin Luther King, great fucking people. But nowadays, every single fucking buddy and their mom wants to be like, everyone sucks. You're all racist. But man, they didn't ask you to stand up for them, did they? They never asked you to do all this posting about how racist other people. They didn't ask you to do nothing, did they, girls? No. It's you thinking you have the audacity to fucking stand up for the little guy, but the little guy is bigger than you thought, and he's actually trying to push you aside and telling you to shut up.
Well, to me, it comes down, and it's like, it's how people conduct themselves, how groups conduct themselves. See, like I think at the core of it and how it started. See, I was for the Black Lives Matter movement, but the problem is it evolved into looting and rioting and crime. And even one of the co-founders went as far as to say like that she like wanted to see white people die. I mean, she was from Canada, but there's proof on Twitter of her saying this. Like it devolved, like, and now Black Lives Matter is basically looked at as like a terrorist group. Whose fault is that? They themselves. They let people get into power that were ignorant, and they let people do ignorant things and got their name tied to it. If they could have kept the movement, pure and clean, then they actually their message actually probably could have gotten further than it did. But because they got people who went outside of their message and did the opposite of their message, or made their message look ignorant. Now there's people that sit and have the basis to feel that it's kind of a group of ignorance. That's the way I feel myself. Like, I mean, it's the same thing with the feminism. Like, I'm for the original class of feminism, the 1950s to 60s feminism. Yes, I think women should be equal to men. I think they should be paid the same as men for for the same, for if they do the same job and they work just as hard doing it. But just like feminism nowadays with the whole, the whole social justice thing, it's social justice doesn't want just equality anymore. Just like the feminists, they don't just want equality, they want the betterment for their own people, and further, like they want supremacy.
They want blood.
you know and I don't agree with that. I'm agree with equal. I'm more than okay with equal. Yes, everybody should be equal, whether it's skin color or sex or,
You're
or
talking more about these bitches that want to get rid of Father's Day for some fucking reason because it's offensive to single mothers. Like, what? That ain't what the fucking 1950s women had in mind. Okay.
exactly. And that, just like, that's just my whole point in this, is it's just like, if these movements could be for just the advancement in their equality, yes, I'm for that, but I'm not for you being superior. I'm not for you getting laws to be put in place to make your group superior, to people outside of your group. That's not right.
It's not on any level. Here nor there.
But
Everyone's good.
honestly, guys, I'd say with that, that's a topic I wanted to set, to kind of cover and touch base on for a while. Been seeing a lot of it lately. Um, Hope you guys like the podcast. If you do, please like, share, and subscribe. And again, if you would like to donate, I will be putting a PayPal link in the description. We're trying to get better equipment to make the podcast better. You can please do that at your discretion. Hope you guys have liked another edition of the Comatose Society podcast. This has been the Blunt Atheist, as I'm known on my other channel, or Sean, signing out. I'll see you guys and have a good day or night, whichever it is for you.